Hey everybody, welcome to the webinar, Magnets, Traps, and Reversal Continuations, Safe Setups for Volatile Markets. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Just want to say hello. Let me know that you can hear me. Just give me a heads up, type in, yes, I can hear you, and we're going to get started right now. So thanks for joining the webinar. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's get started. So everybody knows it's possible to lose money trading futures. So of course, please trade carefully. I'm not a financial advisor. It is possible to lose money when you're trading futures. So trade very carefully. These are volatile markets. We trade using a system called appointment-based trading. We use the Ninja Trader platform and we trade futures. Tomorrow is our first earnings trade. And when we talk about trading earnings, we're talking about the whole issue of using futures to trade earnings. We're not trading the stocks. We have a very unique way of doing what we do, and we use the futures using the Ninja Trader platform to trade earnings. It's a great way to trade earnings, and that starts first tomorrow. We have a system. We have our JOBB News Trader software. We have 4 elements that make up the system. Today, we're going to talk about reversal continuations, magnet trades, and trap trades. Those are setups that are built into our software that are very, very useful when the markets are extremely volatile like they are now. Our software and our whole system has 5 elements that we use for trading, and those elements are the weekly schedule, our daily market trade report, trade room access, of course, where we explain all the things that we're doing for each trade, our news trader software, magnet trade software, and built into our news trader software is our trap trade setup and our reversal continuations. The weekly schedule is emailed out to all our members, or you can get it on our website for free, 10minutetrades.com, www, of course. All you have to do is go to the website, sign up, opt in for our free video, How to Find 10-Minute Trades, and we'll send you our weekly schedule every week. Whether you trade news the way that we do, whether you trade events the way that we do, or if you're just a discretionary trader, it doesn't really matter. It's still very useful to have our schedule because it shows you important events that are taking place that week, and you want to be careful if you're in the market during those events, because many of those events will move markets, and sometimes you're not expecting a news event and you're in a trade and it'll blow you out of a trade and ruin your trade. So it is extremely important to know what events are taking place. And our weekly schedule, we pinpoint most of the major events. And also we, of course, teach you how to check every day for the events that are extra events that are taking place in the markets. Our weekly schedule shows the time of the event. It shows the time that our trade room opens. So our weekly schedule is also a trade room schedule. And it shows very often the instrument we're trading, which sometimes can be updated when we get to the trade room. It lets you know if we're streaming on YouTube for that event and if we have a daily report for that event as well. So the weekly schedule is a great free report to get each week. When we have a very important event, we often have a daily trade report, and that report has information on how we're going to trade that event. The most important thing to realize is that our trade room is the final word on what we're doing, especially when the markets are behaving the way they're behaving now, when you have out of control government doing things that are just unbelievable, damaging to the markets. If you think about it, why destroy the bond market? I don't know. But those behaviors create massive volatility in the market, and we have to figure out ways to trade it that are going to be safe. And that's what we're looking to do. Our daily trade reports are setups that we're considering using on an event, but we are going over those events all the time in our trade room. Our news trader software has built into it, like I said, the trap trade strategy, the magnet trade strategy, reversal continuation strategies. We have many different ways that we can trade one event. And there is no perfect way to always trade one event. Sometimes you might want to wait for the news to take place. If the market appears to not, sometimes the market is so volatile that you don't want to trade at the exact moment of the event. Other times you do want to trade at the exact moment of the event. We have different setups to allow you to make those choices based on the price action and based on the way the markets are behaving. And we discuss it every day, all the time in our trade room. Our software is an add-on strategy for NinjaTrader. As I said, it has multiple setups. It can automate your entries, your targets, and your stops. It's also a super ATM program. So what does that mean? Very simply, when you use a program like TradeStation, for instance, or you use a program like NinjaTrader, built into the platform is a simple programming language, but you have to learn that language to control your trades. Our software, you just enter numbers into our software and you don't have to learn a fancy programming language to control your trades, to move your stops, to put your targets on the chart, to trail your stops. There's all sorts of things that our software can do in an automated or semi-automated or completely discretionary manner. Our appointment-based trading system is a simple time-based approach to the market. We create a weekly schedule. We know when we're going to be in our trade room. So you don't have to sit in front of your charts all day long. You can schedule your trades. We like to schedule them a week in advance. That's what we feel is the absolute best time frame. And you make an appointment with the market. You set up your trade, take the trade, wait, see if there's any opportunities after the trade, and then we leave. And then we come back maybe 2 hours later, 3 hours later, depending on the weekly schedule, and we come back and do the same thing over again. I love appointment-based trading because I don't want to be in the market all day. I don't want to watch my charts all day long also. And we have learned as time passes that the more you trade, the less you make, the less you trade, the more you make, and you want to maximize the trades you take. Take the best opportunities for profit. Don't overtrade, and our system is geared towards learning not to overtrade and do some of the things that traders do, some of the bad habits that traders get into. Most trading can be very boring. You sit around for hours and hours praying for a good setup, waiting for a good setup, hoping you don't miss the setup. But with our system, we know when the event is taking place and we know what time to trade. It's a great way to do things. There are triggers, and the triggers are what create our opportunities. So there are categories that we look at for the triggers. High impact economic reports, a GDP report, a jobs report, a CPI report like we had today. PPI tomorrow, for instance. Trigger category number 2 might be big earning reports. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to trade JP Morgan. And then category number 3, market opens, market closing trades. In these markets, there's lots of opportunities, and we'll talk about how the magnet strategy can be used around those market opens and closes to take advantage of some of those opportunities. There are hundreds of triggers within these categories, and those are the triggers that we choose, and those are the ways we figure out what our schedule is going to be. We find the events to trade very simply by going to the popular free calendars. For instance, Forex Factory. When you go to Forex Factory and click the word calendar, they show you a list of all the weekly trades for that week. They color code them by the most important to the least important. Then we also look at investing.com, Another website that is very, very good for looking at the news, you just go to Tools, Economic Calendar. You could click this week for the whole week if you want to see a whole week's worth of trading. And then you can just simply scroll down. They have a star-based system. 3 stars is more impact, 2 stars is medium impact, 1 star is less impact. But the truth is sometimes the calendars get the impact wrong. And we know what the impact is on most of the events. But we go through the calendars every week, finding the best events to trade, and then we create our schedule and pass it on to you. Finally, another website that we like very much, Financial Juice, the Pro version, which is not free, has a squawk box, which we find very important in our trading. It's a great way to trade the market because you hear the news in your headset while you're trading the news, and that can give you great knowledge about whether or not you might want to stay in a trade or exit a trade at a certain point after the news is released. Plus, that other calendars don't cover, that they cover. They do some earnings. They do the WASD report now. So it's a very good calendar that we recommend. All of those things put together help us to create our schedule and find the events that we're going to trade. The key is always to find the best of the best events, the events that over and over show more profits than losses and are consistent in the way that they trade. And the best of the best we call our family money trades. Those are the best of the best trades that we recommend that all of our members trade them because they're behaving well, meaning they're making profits. All right? Family money trades. Those are our favorite setups that we recommend trading. If we were trading our own family's money, we would recommend those events. You can trade the way that we trade in a prop account. You can trade cash. There are things that happen based on the kind of account that you're trading in, and we teach our members what are the best ways to trade in the various accounts. Sometimes breakout trades in super volatile markets don't work as well as some of the ways of trading I'm going to show you today. And those are things that you want to know in advance so you can make an intelligent decision on what and how you're going to trade every event. Today, what I want to talk about is trading the volatility we're seeing in these markets as safely as humanly possible. One of my favorite ways to trade when the markets are very volatile is using the magnet trade. And we've had quite a few webinars on the magnet trade, and we'll continue to have more webinars on it because it's a fantastic way to trade. So let me show you. This morning, we were looking at the CPI report, and we knew that this CPI report was going to be out of control volatility. And we noticed on the far right chart that bonds were possibly going to have a magnet set up. And in the middle chart also, we noticed we were looking at micro gold. We were looking at micros this morning because of market volatility. You want to keep your risk reasonable. So in this market volatility, you could trade micros. You don't have to trade full-size contracts. Well, we noticed that gold was very possibly going to have a magnet trade. So I know you're thinking, what's a magnet trade? First of all, if you're going to have a trade called the magnet trade, you have to define what a magnet is. Magnets are levels on the charts that many traders all look at the same levels. And because so many people are looking at the same level, they place their orders around those levels, and those levels attract price. And that's why we call them magnets. So there are great magnets, levels on the charts that attract price over and over. Not like once a day, not once a week, but sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a day. And there are very great magnets that we use and trade. The high of the day and the low of the day. The VWAP is also a great magnet. And we have a custom magnet set up as part of our magnet trade strategy. So if you like using Fibonacci's, for instance, and everybody knows enough people look at fibs so that they become magnets, you can use our strategy. You don't have to write anything. You can create a very simple setup that uses whatever custom level you want. That level can be your magnet. The most important thing to realize about the definition of what a magnet is your exit out of the market. So when you look at a high of the day and a low of the day, you're saying to yourself, yes, I'm going to exit my trade at the magnet or a little bit past it. But that key is, theoretically, the magnet is going to be your first target. All right? Preferably an exit if it only goes to the high of the day. But the beauty of trading and the interesting thing about trading is, of course, the magnet can be your exit, but you can very easily with our software create an order, a target that goes past the magnet. So if you break magnets, which often happens, you can take advantage if the move keeps going. But if it doesn't keep going, the simple concept is the magnet is your exit. But of course, the software is flexible enough that it can take you past the magnet for even more profits. But it was interesting this morning. We were trading an MES breakout on CPI. We also had a bond breakout for some of our cash members that wanted to trade bonds. We knew that CPI was going to be a pretty high risk event, very high volatility. But you'll notice the high of the day is a magnet that gets tested often, especially for gold. And we had a high of the day before the CPI news. And I wasn't planning on trading it, but I was just showing it to people because some members trade just magnets. I was actually setting up for other trades this morning, but our software puts this heavy line on the chart. That chart is the entry. It's before you get to the magnet, and even before the CPI event took place, gold hits the entry, and then actually after, you see here, if you look further back, it actually hit the magnet entry before we started trading. Then at 8:30, just as the news came out, gold burst up, magnet trade, tested the magnet, pulled back, but you would have had your profit on the burst up and going into the high of day and past it. It was just interesting this morning that a magnet trade set up, which often does happen right before news. On the bonds, the magnet trade, interestingly, didn't quite get there. The CPI, no, I take it back. The CPI news came out and it burst right to the high. And it was, if you had set up bonds as a magnet and not as a breakout, either one of those could have been winning trades. As it was, traders set it up as a breakout. We had bonds as a breakout this morning, and CPI did work quite well, but it also was, very interestingly, a magnet trade as it burst quite a bit above the high. It was just something we noticed this morning, and it's something we see all the time around news, around market opens and closes. And let me just show you a couple of magnets to give you a clearer idea of what a magnet is, because you've got to see a few to make sure you understand what it is. In this particular market, we noticed the high of the day and gold looked to me like it was going to get tested. And I wasn't really setting up a trade. I was just putting up a very fast scalp trade in my prop account because I didn't have time to set up a regular trade, but it was a perfect functioning magnet. The idea is, if you understand what a magnet is, then you can take the time and set up your magnet trade. A magnet trade is easier and more reliable than just setting up a random scalp. It's a little bit more accurate, and it's a very good way to trade magnets. But the thing that you're seeing here, the high of the day pulled price. The price went up. It hit the high of the day. That was my exit. And I had a very nice profit in my prop account on that magnet. Let me show you another one. I'll show you a couple. Gold is one of my favorite magnets. It's just always throughout the day, especially as it's hitting all these incredible levels, testing new highs. So here we put on our trade. It's going to get pulled up. There's the push first target, second target, bingo, magnet trade. Now our current version of the software has buttons to press and ways that you could set up the trade much more visually so you can automate the trade also. Let me show you what I mean. So here's a gold magnet. If you'll notice what's happening here, the market's falling. Our thick line is our entry. We have a magnet auto trader mode button that if you press the button once, it turns purple. That means the magnet trade is on automatic, and it'll put the orders on the chart when you hit the level, the thick line, and it'll just be a completely automatic trade. It'll put the order and the target on. All you have to do is watch it. And obviously, if it goes your way, which magnets often do, I move my stop above structure, and then you're going to see gold's going to shoot down, hit our two targets, and be a perfect magnet trade. That's why we would design this software, because this setup really works well. Sometimes, it'll chop a little bit, but ultimately that magnet, in this case, the low of the day, will pull price into it. So our software has the magnet trade setup built in. It's very easy to use. What's also cool about our software is, let me see if I could show you one more thing. Give me a second. This particular magnet was a VWAP magnet. That's a custom magnet. Our software lets you set up, like I said, a level that you like to look at, and everyone likes to look at the VWAP because it's a very popular level on the chart. So our exit was just before we got to the VWAP. Our software lets us set up a custom magnet. Price got pulled. There it goes. Bingo. Hits the target. You're out for another profitable magnet trade using a custom level, the VWAP. And all we really have to do to set up a custom level, interestingly, right now, the NQ is hitting the VWAP as we speak. But to set up the NQ for a custom level trade on a magnet is quite simple. You just click on strategy, click on magnet, and then we put custom level, and then just look at the level where you want to exit. And let's say it's 18,592. You just type that level in. And the default is we have one position. We'll leave that. We have a target. We'll use a 20-tick target. We have a 20-tick stop. I'm not really going to change anything else except I put in the custom level, and I'm going to enable the trade. It shows up in the control panel because it's part of NinjaTrader. When I enable the magnet trade, it puts my buttons on, long, short, enter now if I want to enter the magnet trade early. But most importantly, we get this heavy line at the level we typed in, and I can move it to where I want to be entered. So I'm going to be entered into this trade before I get to the VWAP. All right. In theory, I would get entered in this area here. If the trade's on automatic, like it is now, if it goes through that line, there it is. Now, that trade happened to work, but I needed a little bit bigger targets But interestingly, in this case, I would have made $100 on that trade with a 10 tick target, which it hit almost instantaneously. But look, it went through the VWAP. I set that up super fast because of the webinar. What really should have been done was a bigger target because you saw how the trade was all scrunched up. I needed bigger targets. But the beauty of it is the magnet went through the VWAP, a custom level magnet trade, easy to set up, and very often it bursts through those magnets and you make a profit. You saw that. I wasn't even trying. I just set up a random trade, not even analyzing the market. Magnets definitely are fantastic to trade. They suck the price right into them, and it's a great way to trade. And if you notice, markets can be ultra volatile, and a magnet trade is still not scary. They're not as crazy. They're not subject to serious liquidity problems. You don't have problems getting filled like you do sometimes in super fast breakout trades. So magnets are great ways to trade volatility safely. So that's one major method that we use. The second method that we use are our trap trades. And we've given completely separate webinars on the fantastic capability of trap trades. Why do we love trap trades so much? Well, here's the deal. So what is a trap trade? Trap trade is a trade that we set up when we do the research on all these trades, right? So we trade the FOMC statement. And we went back 2 years on the behavior of the FOMC statement. 2 years. We looked at 2 years worth of FOMC statement events, and we looked at those events and we saw something that was happening on almost every single FOMC setup. And what was happening is that the FOMC was reversing after almost every trade. And so what we did is we have a software setup where we put 2 orders above the current price and we put 2 orders below the current price, just like you see here. And when the FOMC statement was recently released, the price shot down. When the price goes down, we buy the market. If the price first goes up, we would sell the market, and we're making money on the change in direction. So we have a setup that tells us how many ticks from this orange arrow, which is the current price, to put our orders and to put our stops. So we have a special sheet that we call a spike sheet. And we look at that spike sheet on the FOMC statement. We had 2 years worth of data. Almost every single FOMC statement reversed in a way that allowed us to trade a trap trade. So of course, on the last FOMC statement in March, we traded a trap trade, and watch what happened. We put 2 orders below the market, 2 orders above. If the market goes up, we sell. If the market goes down, we buy, and we make our money when that original direction reverses. Well, 2 weeks ago, where it was roughly 2 weeks ago, the price shot down, instantly reversed, almost before you could blink an eye. We were in significant profit. Something interesting happened. It only filled one of those orders. So we have a special feature in our software that lets us get rid of the extra order that's in our way, so then we can move our stop to safety. It's just a cancel button. We cancel the extra order, and then we can move our stop to safety. That trade was over so fast with a $600 profit, literally in 15 seconds. The market shot down, filled us long, and then watch in real time as the market just goes up and hits our target, takes us out of the trade. Almost 15 seconds is all it took, and it was very, very profitable, very fast. We had already moved our stop to safety. Phenomenal trade. That's a trap trade. The research told us that was the best way to trade that event trade for a change in direction, and that's what we did. The GDP report, also, very end of the month, last month, GDP. Most traders won't touch that report because it's too volatile, too risky to trade, but we have a setup. We, again, studied quarter after quarter on GDP. There's three different types of GDP. We've discovered you don't have to differentiate these days between the quarters. It's like a monthly trade now. The price popped up this time, filled us short. We were able to move our stop to safety, and then we started trailing as price went down. Price is still going down. Then if you get the opportunity, make your target bigger, keep trailing as price goes down, and you could keep maximizing your profit till direction changes and it pops up and takes you out of the trade. GDP, another excellent trap trade. Again, research tells us this particular event often changes direction, and it's the change of direction that gives us our profit. The trap trade is easy to set up, easy to understand. All we do is put 2 orders above current price, 2 orders below, and when the market opens up for the event, we either get filled or we don't, and we manage the trade accordingly. And when we get our reversal, that's where we get our money. In real time, that trade exploded up, put me in the market short, and then it sold off, and I was able to make a profit trailing the price down. And we were trading that in our prop account. Even in these crazy markets, though, when we are using our analysis and looking at the market intelligently, we still get breakouts to work really well. And today's bond report, so here's the deal, and here's why we did what we did today. Yesterday's bond auction, we were definitely too concerned because of the market volatility to trade it with real money. We didn't even want to trade it in a prop account. And we just recommended to most of our members that we just watch the report. But it was a fantastic move, and it was a tremendously profitable event. But our setup wasn't correct. And that's the reason we watched it yesterday. We watched it and we realized if we modify our setup and we get a similar type move today, we could trade it in our cash account because many of the prop accounts don't allow bonds to be traded, but we also have a cash account. So I took the risk, told our members, yes, this is a risk, but I'm going to trade one contract in our cash account, and we're going to use a bigger bracket, which is often very smart to do in a very volatile market. Bigger brackets and bigger stops often are what will help you to stay safe in a breakout trade. And the bonds, the news came out very quickly. 1301.30, 101.30, we put our orders on the chart, and we were just watching our bigger bracket, getting ready to trade it. We told our members, don't trade our YM setup today. It wasn't safe, and it wasn't. We were right about that. We're not always right, but very often we get it right. Beautiful move in the bond market today. It burst up, hit my 10-tick target for a very profitable trade in about 10 seconds. And that was a breakout. And we're avoiding breakouts in most cases because these markets are doing much better as trap trades and magnet trades. And the third type of setup that I want to show you, reversals, continuations. Okay, trap trades, we showed you. The magnet trade, I've showed you. I've shown you, what is the reversal continuation? So reversal continuations aren't complicated. Sometimes you'll have a lousy breakout trade, like we had a recent jobs report that didn't work out. And we got stopped, but there was an opportunity to jump in after the stop out And we did just that and made all of our money back from the stop out trading gold as a reversal continuation. Let me see if I can show it. Let me make sure I have the right video. Interestingly enough, I don't. Let me get the right one. I apologize. NFP. Here it is. Sorry. It was the March jobs report. We had not a horrible stop out. It was about $300 or $400 if I remember correctly. And then after the trade, we noticed that gold had pulled down, had a big nice green candle. The squeeze was pushing up. You had the high of the day magnet right above us. But instead of doing a magnet, we put on a quick reversal continuation. It's a discretionary trade that you just press a button, instant long or instant short. It pulled me into the market long. It immediately went my way. And then you'll see very quickly it's going to hit my target. And I was able to make back almost all the money that I had lost when I got stopped out. Here it goes. I was able to trail it as well and get it to the high of the day, and we did make more than our stop out by about $100 by the time that trade was over. The reversal continuation, it's a very simple setup. All you have to do to trade a reversal continuation, all you need is a position, how many contracts, how many positions, a target, and a stop. So we just right-click NinjaTrader. I'm going to remove my magnet strategy. We double-click our NewsTrader software, and then we just choose reversal continuation. I can put on 2 contracts if I want. I can have 2 or 3, 1, 2, or 3 positions. For now, I'm just going to do 1, but 2 contracts, and I'm going to do a 15-tick target and a 25-tick stop in this volatile market. That's all I need. Position, target, stop, apply it. I like to label my trades. So if I'm trading a reversal, the name of the trade shows up in the control panel. This is the control panel, and it shows up reversal or reversal continuation. To enable the buttons, I just click the enabled button. All right. And I'm sorry about that phone, folks. I can turn it off. So I've got, if I want to enter this trade as a instant long or an instant short, so if I'm trading news and the news bursts up, then I could trade an instant short to get a reversal. Or if the news goes down, I could trade an instant long. So for instance, if I think this market's going up, right, I could press instant long. And, right now the market's dropping. If you're scalping, you could press instant short. You can move your stop if you need to move your stop. I'm just showing the technique. I'm not trading intelligently here. Watching the market. I'm not scalping this market at the moment. I'm not watching the news. I'm not listening. I'm not paying attention. These are not the proper conditions to trade. I'm just showing you how you do it. Maybe I want bigger targets because that's been getting hit so fast that obviously this market is so volatile. You need much bigger targets. So I'll put in a 40 target, and you need even bigger stops. I'll put in a 40 stop, reset my setup, turn it back on, press long. Now you could see it's a little bit more manageable. And, I'm just showing you how to do it. Instant long, this market unbelievably volatile right now. But if you want to scalp the market, we would use instant long, instant short. That would be the technique we would use. You could make your stop bigger by moving it. You can make your targets bigger by moving it. Okay. Right now we're short. You could move your stop to safety if you get the opportunity. move your stop to break even, market shooting down, make back some of that fake money we lost, right? But that's the way you could scalp the market real fast, very quick. Get your stop out of the way in a super volatile market. Maybe let the trade breathe a little bit. If you really think it's going down, get that stop out of the way so you have an opportunity to catch the direction. And sometimes it'll kill you, right? The key is techniques to use when markets are very volatile if you've done your homework and you're paying attention and you're not just throwing trades on randomly like I was doing here to show you how it works, but being intelligent and smart about the way you trade. Lots of opportunity. Yesterday, one technique that you can use for practice is if you download yesterday's data, for instance, when the market exploded after the tariff announcement, you could use market replay. Go to historical data. You could download data for a particular day you want to trade. Get the market replay, for instance, on the NQ from yesterday, which was April 9th. Download the NQ data, the NQ contract, download it. Okay, it's going to be done downloading right now. And now what I could do is go into Market Replay, disconnect all my live connections, any of my prop accounts or my cash account, go into Market Playback, press Continue. My chart is on NQ 625, and then put in the date for yesterday, which was 4/9. It goes into both these boxes. And now I could put a time that I want to start trading. What time was that announcement yesterday? Well, we'll look and we'll see. We'll put 1 p.m., all right, as our trading time. I think it was earlier, but we'll see in a second. Let's put 10 a.m. We'll do 10 a.m. We'll okay it. The chart we're on is yesterday's, is the NQ for the 3-month chart. We're going to start at 10 a.m. And I think we'll find out in a moment. If we want to just watch the market before we set up a trade, you could press play. Now I have a little bug in my Ninja. I have to put the time back in. So I'm going to put 10:30 in because I don't see the market exploding yet. Put in 10:30. I'm going to press play at 10:30. And I can speed the market up too, almost 20 times its normal speed as it plays back, even faster. So I'm just playing back a super fast market at the moment, watching the market, watching the market. But you can use replay to practice your setups. So for instance, you can have your strategy, right-click the chart, look at strategy, reversal continuation. We had already set it up, 2 contracts, a 40-tick target, a 40-tick stop. You just put it on, the account is playback, and now you can practice your trading, any setup, by enabling the trade. It turns on the buttons. Now I would slow down the market. I wouldn't trade at 50 speed, but I can do an instant long, for instance. I could make my stop a little bigger if I have time. Look how fast the market was yesterday. These are things you can practice. You could practice, well, what am I going to do if the market is ultra volatile? Bigger stops, bigger targets, right? Move your stop, get it out of the way, boom, profitable trade. Ways to practice using playback in Ninja Trader and our setups. Reversal continuation. You can practice trap trades. You can practice breakouts. Let me show you one more fantastic trade, and then I'll talk about what we would like you to do. We want you to join with us. Let me show you. Tomorrow we have earnings coming up. Let me show you a members earnings trade. that he sent to us for a recent Cisco earnings trade. One of our members sent us his video. We trade a lot of the big tech stocks. We trade futures. We don't trade the stocks. When we say we're trading Cisco, we're trading futures. We designed a way to trade the futures market on Cisco's earnings. And it's something we've studied. We come up with these great setups. Our member traded Cisco. You could see his orders are short. The earnings came out. Cisco news was negative. The price is going to go down. It's going to start hitting his targets. It's going to start giving him a nice profit. There's one target that he hit, $200 in immediate profit trading Cisco. We also trade some of the retailers. We had a Home Depot. We trade Home Depot every quarter. This was one of the first times we started trading Home Depot. The price shot down immediately, hit our target 9 seconds after their earnings came out. Now, not every trade is a 9-second trade. Not every trade is a winner. The point of this webinar is we have setups that help people to trade in these volatile markets that we feel are as safe can be. And we also have earnings coming up right now. They're starting this week. It's another great way to trade with us. Let me just make a fantastic offer to everybody. We would like you to join us for all of our upcoming news, earnings, and magnet trade rooms. We're going to give you access to absolutely everything that we sell, all of the tools that we have in our trade room, our daily market reports, our weekly schedule, full access to all of our software strategies, access to our pro trade room, access to the trap trade software, access to the magnet trade software. You can trade in a prop account. You can trade in a cash account. 10-minute trades, pro membership. We have a 30-day trial, $20.25, www.gopro25.com. It expires tomorrow at midnight, so you got to do this quickly. Just keep in mind, please, if you've recently taken a trial, you're not allowed to take another trial. You gotta bite the bullet. GoPro for just $20.25, www.gopro25.com. You get our News Trader software suite, the Magnet Trade. We're going to teach all about appointment-based trading. Choose the events you want to trade with us. Earnings trade rooms. Trade the selected stock earnings with us starting tomorrow. Trade on our schedule. Trade on your schedule when you learn how to look at the schedule. All right. I will teach you in all of the trade rooms. It's www.gopro25.com. Just $20.25. It is $97 a month after the first 30 days. All you have to do is send us an email to quit. We just ask you, please, if you're not going to stay, you must let us know a couple of days before the billing period. Those are the rules. We're very easy to cancel. Just send us an email. help@10minutetrades.com. help@10minutetrades.com. If you have questions, send us an email. We'll answer it. www.gopro25.com. We get testimonials all the time from our members. Sander, thank you so much. Sander's in this webinar, has sent us many nice commentaries on how we have tried to help. We're constantly trying to help all of our members learn as much as humanly possible about trading difficult markets, easy markets when they're easy, earnings when the earnings come out. It's our goal to guide you and teach you and care about your success. www.gopro25.com, just $20.25. Expires tomorrow night. You get everything included, full pro membership. I want to thank everybody so much for joining this webinar, and we will send you an email with this offer in it. So thanks everyone, and I'll see you soon. Lee Goldstein for 10-Minute Trades. I hope you learned something. There are safe ways to trade these volatile markets. The trap trade, which is a specialized reversal, reversal continuation trades, and magnet trades are three great setups that you can have excellent success with trading extreme volatile markets. Thanks, everyone. Hang on. Yeah, I will check Roz. Everybody have a great weekend. A great weekend. Yeah, it's Friday already tomorrow. So I'll see everybody tomorrow for our last trade room, and then have a great weekend, everyone. See you soon. Take care.